Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, Hope everyone can hear me. If you can hear me, you can just do a thumbs up. Okay. So it's so good to have every one of you join us from all over the world. In the chat box, you can put in where you're dialing in from. You can introduce yourself in the chat box. So this is the very first FIP ECPG webinar for the year, and we are glad to have you join us. And today we're going to be talking about the Early Career Leadership Development Scholarships. And here with us, we have our speakers who are already here. We have some ECPG members who are here and even non-ECPG members. So once again, we welcome each and every one of you, and we are sure that you're going to have a very, very good time here. Thank you. So first of all, I would like for us to, like I said, introduce yourself in the chat box and the country from which you're chatting us from. And then we start in a minute. Thank you. Okay. So I see a lot of responses. We have Nigeria, we have India, we have Netherlands, we have the USA, we have South Africa, we have Madagascar, we have Zambia, we have Lebanon. Wow. It's so good to have each and every one of you join us. So here with us is our ECPG president in the person of Farm Dr. Emanuela Nzeribe, and she'll be giving a brief introduction of who we are and what we stand for, as well as what we do. So we hope that you enjoy these few moments with her. Over to you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Just confirming if you can hear me. Okay, great. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are dialing in from. It's good to see people from different parts of the world joining us today. And I'm happy to have each and every one of you here. And with a pleasure, I am Emmanuel Anzeribe. You can just call me Ella. I have it's an honor to be serving as the president of the FIP Early Career Pharmaceutical Group. And for most of you that may seem new, you know about FIP. FIP is the global body for pharmacists, pharmaceutical scientists, and pharmacy educators. And then we have the Early Career Pharmaceutical Group, which houses young people from different parts of the world, but of course in the same profession, pharmacy. And we have this mandate, and that mandate is to advance the profession right from the start. So if you've seen us all through social media and in newsletter or what have you, or wherever you got to know about this webinar, you would see that we are doing a lot of things to ensure that we continue to advance the profession, even right from when we are still students and up until when you become early career pharmacists. So without further ado, I will give us a brief information about what FIP is for the newbies. And then, of course, we hope that after now, you would be interested in what we do here in FIP and in FIP CPG. So first of all, what is FIP? Like I said earlier, it's a global pharmacy body. This organization represents millions and millions of pharmaceutical scientists, and pharmacy educators from all over the world. So I believe that every country has their own national association that speaks to pharmacists in that particular country. So all those national associations, they all fall under FIP. So FIP is the leader of pharmacy. So you hear about World Pharmacy Day and all of that good stuff. Just know that it's FIP that is housing that. FIP is the leader of pharmacy at the global level. So started in 1912, we have been working hand in hand with organizations just like WHO, UNICEF, and what have you. So we have a vision in FIP to create a world where everyone has access and is able to benefit from safe, effective, quality, and affordable medicines. And of course, the pharmaceutical care, which is what we stand for as pharmacists. And our mission is to continue to improve global health by supporting the advancement of pharmacy practice, pharmaceutical sciences, and then pharmacy education. So this is basically what we do. This is a sum total of what we do in FIP. Moving on to the next slide. The first things first is who are the leaders or who are the people that are overseeing this organization. So you will see that we have the president of FIP, who is Paul Sinclair, and then we have the CEO of FIP, who is Katri Duggan. And then, of course, within the ECPG, we have Luis Lorenzo, who is the FIP ECPG champion to the bureau. So we have a bureau of which the president and the CEO are the leaders. And then within that, we have different organizations or different associations that are under the bureau. So just to give you a brief, what does ECPG contain, or what does it? If you move to the next slide, you would see that we have a committee and a subcommittee, and of course, this was even started this year. So as you can see here, we have by the left, you would see the steering committee of 6 people from different parts of the world, and of course, across the other part of the slide, you would also see the team, which includes the steering committee and then the subcommittee. So I can tell you that if you look through all the subcommittee, you will see people from different parts of the world that are here to do one thing, to advance the profession from the start. So a little bit more information about how we started. So if you move to the next slide, you will see that FIP ECPG started as a young pharmacist group, and this was sometime in 2001. And of course, we'll be turning 25 next year. So what does Young Pharmacist Group, what is it all about? So we started off as a Young Pharmacist Group, and then we transitioned sometime in 2022 to what you hear today, the Early Career Pharmaceutical Group. And we are made up of early career professionals, early career pharmacists that are within FIP, but of course, within 8 years after graduation from your first degree. What is our mission? Our mission is to promote the goals of FIP, being inclusive of ECPG membership, and then continuing to take active roles within the FIP projects and activities. And then our vision is to create a future where we have early career pharmacists, young people all over the world that are being empowered to continue to make positive impact in their communities. So this includes both even in the national level, at the regional level, and at the international or global scale. So within all of these, being a part of ECPG comes with its own benefits, of which you are seeing now, which is this webinar. We have various webinars that we have all through the year, just to ensure that we continue to serve young pharmacists all over the world. So not only do we do that, we also have other initiatives that we've started as well. So we have initiatives that are such as the Leadership Development Program or Development Workshop. We have 2 of them every year. We have the physical one, and then we have the virtual one, of which we have them currently ongoing. We have the mentorship program where we bring people from different parts of, we have FIP leaders and people from senior colleagues that are from different parts of the world and in different aspects of pharmacy, who come in to mentor young pharmacists to also continue to advance their career. And then we also have webinars, we have scholarships, because these scholarships goes a long way to help young pharmacists or early career pharmacists to continue to even attend Congress and even just develop themselves wherever they are. So this webinar that you're attending now is just one of the various benefits of being a part of early career pharmaceutical group. So I will give room now for the team to continue with this part of the webinar. And then, of course, just know that there are also other scholarships that you would need to also be in tune with. And these scholarships these are not just the scholarships. There, of course, there are more scholarships that will be coming up all through the year, just to help you to be able to attend the Congress. So I will entreat every one of you to listen to our scholars from last year, and hopefully you're able to gain something from it that would help you as you apply for this year. Thank you very much and enjoy the webinar. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ella. Thank you so much. Please, could you give her a round of applause? You can do that in the comment section or the react button. Okay, so as you've heard, today is a webinar about the Early Career Leadership Development Scholarships. And here with us are facilitators. We have Yilin, we have Pravin, and we have Shannon. So permit me to please read their bio. Yilin is a community pharmacist serving as a professional care and development manager at Alpo Pharmacy, one of Malaysia's largest prescription pharmacy chains. In this role, Yilin leads professional development initiatives, focusing on improving healthcare delivery through innovative services such as the Minute Consult, which addresses minor ailments and enhances access to care in community pharmacy settings. Yilin's dedication to advancing pharmacy practice is evident in her active involvement with professional organizations. She is the Deputy General Secretary of the Malaysian Pharmacy Society and plays a key role in promoting sustainability in pharmacy through initiatives like My MediSafe, a safe medicine disposal program in collaboration with the Ministry of Health Malaysia. As the immediate past chairperson of the Young Pharmacists chapter, Yiling has fostered leadership and empowered early career pharmacists. Since joining FIP in 2021, Yiling has contributed significantly as a member of the publications team and member relations liaison for FIP ECPG. As of now, she is the ECPG president-elect, and her commitment to the profession has been recognized through several prestigious awards, such as the 2024 FIP Community Pharmacy Section Leadership Scholarship, as well as the MPS Outstanding Young Pharmacist Award and FAPA Young Pharmacist Award. Please, a round of applause for Yiling. Okay, so I'll be reading the bio of Dr. Shania. Dr. Shania Liu is a pharmacist and postdoctoral research fellow at the University of Alberta. She chairs the FIP Hospital Pharmacy Section Communication and Digital Engagement Committee, and she is the recent recipient of the FIP Early Career in Pharmaceutical Practice Recognition Award. Please, a round of applause for her. And last but not the least is Dr. Pravin. He is a distinguished academic and leader in pharmacy practice, a university gold medalist in PharmD from Wales University, Chennai. He holds a PhD in advanced pharmacy practice and has made significant contributions to pharmacy education and practice. Dr. Pravin is a recipient of prestigious international accolades, including the FIP Ton Hawk Scholarship for Young Leaders in 2024 and the FIP Early Career Leadership Development Scholarship for Southeast Asia Region 2023. He served as ECPG Development Coordinator in 2024 and has played an active role in global pharmacy initiatives, including serving as an ESCO observer for CFA. With a strong commitment to leadership and education, Dr. Pravin continues to advance the field of pharmacy through impactful teaching, research, and global collaborations. So thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for all our facilitators. And I'll leave it over to Yiling. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Godscape. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Perhaps to allow everyone to see our face clearly, I'll just stop sharing the screen so that you can view all three of us and ask any questions that you might have in the chat box. Perhaps before we start the discussion, let us just do some warm up with our audience here today. How many of you have joined FIP Congress in South Africa last year? because I saw a lot of familiar names, like Nicodemus was sitting right beside me during the leadership development workshop last year. Yeah, and I met some of you during the CPS section dinner as well, right? Yeah, how many of you have joined? I saw a few of you have raised hand. Or have you joined any of the other FIP Congress in the previous year? Perhaps you can share in the chat box and let us know your experience with FIP Congress earlier. Right, thank you very much. And we saw a mixture of our audience from Western Pacific, Southeast Asia, as well as other regions around the world. Yeah, Australia was the first congress. Okay. Yeah, and I believe some of you might be having a tough time joining us today because it might be a very late at the night or very early in the morning for you today. Like Chanel is 7 a.m. at her time zone and she wake up so early just to help all of us to clear our job. So we must take this opportunity to ask her as many questions as possible. Right. Why not we allow our panelists to introduce about themselves? I know Godsgift has talked a lot about your portfolio and your profile, but I would like to know one thing about you yourself, both Praveen and Chanel, on how is your contributions and association with FIP so far? How did you started your journey in FIP and how did you know about ECPG? So perhaps Praveen could go ahead first, then we'll move on to Chanel later.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful year ahead and time. My initial exposure to FIP was through the ECLD scholarship, which I applied in 2023. I think that was the first year ECLD was given. And I was selected from Southeast Asian region. I attended the Brisbane Congress. And to anyone, the initial part of this scholarship is attending the leadership development workshop. So the first moment that I entered into any FIP program is that Congress, and when I went in, people may know here, Professor Toyin was addressing the people, and you know the aura that she brings when she is talking with people. So that was my first introduction to FIP, and then I attended a lot of sessions over there. Then I had joined the subcommittee last year as a leadership development coordinator. I was helping out AJ in the workshop, and I was helping out AJ in the leadership development program, what Ella discussed before, the virtual program for 11 months. So I was doing all those things over the last year. Also, I had the opportunity to be a speaker at the leadership development workshop last year in Cape Town. So these were the things that happened to me after I received this grant and over the last 1.5 years, ECPG and FIP.
Thank you, Praveen. I'll come back to you and ask about your experience about the leadership development workshop. We are very looking forward to know how do you feel as a participant a few years ago. How about Chanel? What is your experience so far with FIP?
Yeah, warm welcome to everyone, and it's a pleasure to be on this panel with such a great group of pharmacists. So my first foray into FIP started in 2019. So I presented my research work at the Abu Dhabi conference, and that was my first time in the United Arab Emirates. I think such a great benefit of being a part of FIP is traveling to new destinations around the world that you might not otherwise have the opportunity to. And it was certainly a highlight to meet international colleagues at the Abu Dhabi FIP Congress. And since then, it's been all of the congresses that I've thoroughly enjoyed as well. In terms of my involvement in FIP, it has been mainly in the hospital pharmacy section through coordinating social media activities as their communication and digital engagement pair, and also assisting with things like promoting the Basel Statement. And very happy to share information about the Basel Statement with Yiling after this if any of the audience want to read more about that, and certainly actively being involved in mentorship activities as well as presenting the latest findings of my research work and supporting my team's research to be presented as well. And very happy to answer any questions about awards and scholarships, which have really facilitated my engagement in FIP activities.
Thank you, Chanel. I'll just ask a follow-up questions to Chanel because Chanel was our early career pharmaceutical practice recognition awardee. So I believe a lot of us will be very interested to know about this award and how do you feel about that? Would you mind to share with us what is the award about and how was the selection process, if you may know, and how was your experience?
Yeah, of course. So this award basically recognizes an early career pharmacist who's made a significant contribution to their particular field on a national level and is meant to be emerging internationally as well. And of course, it's a great honor to be awarded this recognition. And the award process or the selection process is quite rigorous in that it goes through a blind selection process. The actual application process involved a application kind of submission where you put through what contributions you've made to your field. And here, this is where my research and also my engagement in different pharmacy associations has really made a difference. So to give you some background, my research looked at pain management research, particularly looking at the safe and appropriate use of strong pain medicines like opioids. And in my professional organisation in Australia, namely Advanced Pharmacy Australia, throughout my PhD looking at pain management research, I also chaired the Advanced Pharmacy Australia Pain Management Leadership Committee alongside my activities in FIP. And this also helped to disseminate and spread my research in terms of its reach and scope nationally in Australia. So what I did in this organisation was by chairing the Advanced Pharmacy Australia Pain Management Leadership Committee, I also shaped the national guidelines on pain management in Australia. These guidelines have also extended to other associations such as the Australian and New Zealand College of Anaesthetists position statement on pain management. And so my work in pain management has had quite a broad influence on pain management there. So that's kind of the selection process and some of the facilitators towards receiving that recognition.
Thank you, Chanel. Then I would just also like to invite Pravin to share about the ECLD scholarship as well as the Thornholt scholarship that you have gotten last year and about your experience in the application process as well as how do you feel about this?
Yeah. So ECLD was a couple of years back. ECLD is the first part of the scholarship. It is actually Tonuk is a 2-year journey, in fact. So ECLD is 6 scholarships are available in ECLD based on each region. Like Western Pacific has one, Southeast Asian has one, I guess African region has one, and Europe has one, Middle East something has one. There are based on 6 WHO regions, we have 6 different scholarships. So the application time is around I think till the end of January of Feb 11 somewhere. So we should be preparing our portfolio or profile. Along with that, we should propose a project work, which we can do through the support of a mentor from the FIP or the ECPG. So that should be our goal. We have to give a proposal, and the thing that we should keep in our mind is how far the proposal can be helpful in line with the 30 development goals that FIP has proposed. So that is the thing that we need to keep in our mind. And if our proposal is good, then based upon the other eligibility requirements, we can get that ECLD scholarship. So 6 scholars will be selected, and from that 6, based on the outcome of the project that has been carried out, whatever we have proposed will give us ECLD, and whatever we have performed from the ECLD project will give us TONUC. So TONUC is like a global phenomenon, but it's a competition between those 6 scholars who is going to compete for TONUC. So that is that. So once you get selected, you will be first attending the leadership development workshop during the congress. Then you can you'll have opportunities to present whatever the proposal there. And I think in a leadership development workshop, you have a time, you have around 10 minutes to talk about your proposal. You will get good suggestions. In fact, really good suggestions you will get during the workshop. I got a lot of wonderful sessions. So that will happen during the leadership development workshop. So based upon that, you can improve your project work. Whatever the sessions they have given, you can incorporate that. You will also be given a mentor from the FIP and ACPG. You can suggest mentors as well. That is also possible with that. So then you will be given a timeline about 6 months, with the first timeline around 3 months, where you have to submit how far the work has been completed, and by the end of 6 months, you will be submitting your entire report. So based on this entire report, you will be selected for the Town Scholar. That's what you will be having. You will get good opportunities to present your work in two congress. Literally, you can attend two congresses. I attended Brisbane and Cape Town, so you can do that as well with these scholarships. So that can be done.
Yeah, thanks, Praveen. And in fact, there's a few opportunities available currently for the early career pharmacists to grab. It could be an ECLD scholarship, or if you are a community pharmacist in your region, you might apply for a CPS ECLD scholarship as well, which is in collaboration with community pharmacy sections for early career pharmacists who is an employer or employee in community pharmacy, where you can apply for that. And the path could be slightly different from ECLD, because for CPS ECLD scholars, we would not work on any project. So it's like a one-off scholarship for us to have an early exposure about FIP Congress, as well as get the networking throughout the session. Perhaps I would want to drill slightly deeper into the details of application, because that's the section where I received the most questions from the audience, right? I believe both Chanel and Praveen could be shared with us on your tips. So one of the very common questions that I receive is, in all the application process, it requires us to write something, for example, the project proposal, or even a description about ourselves, our motivation. So in these two writing, are there any specific tips or do and don'ts that our applicants should take note of? We will start with project proposal first. What would be your take in writing a project proposal when they're applying for the scholarships or when they're describing the projects? What are the top tips that you would like to remind the audience here? Either Praveen or Chanel can go first.
Yeah, one of the key things that we need to keep in our mind when you're writing a proposal or when we are writing the motivation is how we are going to make use of the opportunity if we receive the scholarship, and how we are going to apply it in our region. How this scholarship will work in a broader picture to the entire society as well, to the region as well. So that will always fetch us a better position while it comes to evaluation. And one thing about ECLD scholarships will be initially evaluated by that region, the excos of that region. For example, all those 15 countries from Southeast Asia, it will come to CRFARM Forum. Likewise, it goes to Asian, Western Pacific. So it will be evaluated in that. So our proposal should be in pretext, so that on a broader pretext that we can, there could be some good outcome for the society, good outcome for the community pharmacists, or whichever area you belong. I belong to academic pharmacy. So whichever area you belong to, what is the outcome that you can get with this project? That is what makes a major role. And your motivation is how you are going to pose you on. It's not like a one-time thing that you have to complete a project, you publish, it's over. It's always better. What is your future scope with that? How in 5 years time, in 10 years time, what you're going to do with that project? How far it is going to help out the other pharmacists, those who are following you? So if you keep those things in your mind, those things in your proposal, it will be. I think you will have an edge over the other contenders, I believe.
I completely agree with what Praveen has said, and I would add to that to say that when it comes to your grant proposal, have a think about what the aim of the particular scholarship or the grant that you're applying for is. Often they'll have, 2 or 3 priority areas, and it might tell you exactly what those priority areas are, or you might need to do some research to see what the particular organization or the aim of that organization in that year or quarter or a couple of years might be. And then if you can align your grant proposal to those priority areas, that can be something that can help your proposal to be seen as favorably. Another tip that I would give, And this applies for not just your grant proposal, but also your motivation statements, application for selection criteria, etc., would be to get someone who is more senior than you in that field to mentor you. And I really believe that strong mentorship is so important because there's only so much that you can know potentially at your career stage, and to have someone who is more experienced than you to maybe have a look at your application, give you some pointers, can make all the difference. So I would really encourage you during your FIP Congress attendance or through your FIP networks or other international networks or in your own networks to seek a great mentor and to ask them to review your application and give you some feedback there. Those would be my two tips.
Yeah. Before we move forward, perhaps I would just want to remind our audience to type your questions in the chat box so that we could address them one by one. But just coming back to writing a proposal, I guess the first step that all of us should do is refer back to FIP 2025 website and identify the 3 key focus areas that they are focusing this year. It has been already released since last year, so you might want to have a read. And secondly, when you are writing the proposal, I am a person who always needs guideline to guide me what to write. So when I was writing, I list down I would need to write the objective of the proposal and then what is the methodology and how am I going to execute, what could be the impact to the countries or to the pharmacies or even to the regions, maybe Western Pacific, where it can potentially expand to the other areas. And I'll make sure the objective match with what FIP Congress is doing. So one of the example, perhaps we can share what we have wrote in our proposal. So last year when I applied for CPS leadership scholars, I think because our section is very much focused on community pharmacy settings, so I spoke about pharmacy sustainability in community pharmacy, and I started a project called My Medisafe with the government in Malaysia for promoting safe medication disposal. And last year in FIP Congress 2024, one of the focus is about pharmacy sustainability. So I guess it blend it quite well and allow the judges to know that we are pretty aligned in terms of the goals and objective, and I could definitely learn a lot from the Congress. So when you're writing, it would be good to always get, like Chanel mentioned, get a mentor to help you to look through and do sufficient research and studies on the sustainability development goal in FIP website. And when you're writing, blend those keywords in so that it shows that you are prepared for the applications compared to the other candidates. And following that, I think the next commonly asked question is about which one should I apply. Chanel is an award recipient, and award usually is the application process is where they'll send to national organization of your countries and they would select a candidate. But when it comes to scholarship, there's a few scholarship available. ECLD scholars and CPS are leader scholar. And there would be other travel grant coming up soon later on as well. So this question, perhaps I'll pose it to Pravin on if a person would like to apply for either one of the scholarship. Are there any specific ways to know which one would fit their needs the most? Because every scholarship would have different path and different coverage for the accommodation and transportation.
So it is always I mean in all the scholarship calls, we have the requirement, what basic requirement is. But I personally believe it aligns with your area. For example, you are a recipient of CPS scholarship and you are a community pharmacist, so you will have an edge over that, and you are the right person to apply for that. Whereas I'm an academic pharmacist, when I applied, there is no particular scholarship for academic pharmacists, so I have gone through ECLD. And I think industrial pharmacy section has a travel award, I guess, micro travel award is there with that. And then there is one more professional innovation grant is there from ECPG. So we have these grants. The first thing that you can apply is, I think, ECLD, because that deadline is earlier. So give a try with ECLD, and in ECLD you need to think about the basic requirements, your proposal, how you are going to design it. And one more thing is that there will be requirement of 2 letters of recommendations one from your current employer and one from someone else. So that also plays a major role. If you really believe that your proposal is in line with not just your particular area alone, but into an entire region, then I believe you should try for ECLD, because you have an opportunity to go for the next Congress as well. You have the TONOG that might come in your way, and so two things can be done at a single point of time. That can be done, and keep one thing in your mind, that in your is always a person who knows about you. She was telling about the mentor. If the mentor writes you a letter of recommendation, that will be even more good, because if something is written about your project work in your letter of recommendation, that will give you a more advantage. That will make you stand out from the rest. So that also can be done.
Yeah, thank you, Praveen. I just spotted Irene, who was also a ECLD scholars last year, and she's in the call. Perhaps, Irene, if you have anything in mind, you could also post in the chat box and share with us. And when it comes to applications, I think there's a questions coming in, but before we address that questions, I think one of the key questions that a lot of us might have in mind is especially when we apply for ECLD scholarships and we are asked to prepare a project proposal, but this candidate may not have a lot of connection with the national organization or even the government bodies. What else that they could potentially do, or what kind of projects that they could potentially explore with the limited resources and networking that they have? So what would be your advice in that? Does that mean if I do not know anyone from government, I couldn't apply for that because my project is not significant? How can they justify that?
I think I could answer this well, because when I applied for ECLD, I didn't have good what you call connection with my local organization or national organization. I didn't have good rapport with the government. I mean, I didn't do any project with the government and nothing of that sort. So I have gone with a proposal which fits my area of research, and I wanted to ensure that it should be not limiting just to my settings, and but it can be extrapolated to other settings as well. That's what. So my work was on health, improving health literacy to patients to have a better patient outcomes, and I wanted to focus on diabetes, which is a prevalent condition in Southeast Asian region. So that was only my concept. I gave a proposal. All this contact from the local organizations, national organizations, and the government, everything happened after I received the ECLD. Before that, I didn't have much interaction with them. So all this happened only after ECLD. So you need not worry that you should have a what do you call a national organization supporting you, or you should have a government that's supporting you. If that is there, well and good. If that is not there, there is no differentiation with you. You can come up with your proposal where you are strong, which can be used in a broader picture. That's the
From
ultimate
what thing is talking about? This one.
I think if there's any questions, you might type in the chat so that we could continue with the flow. Appreciate that if we could do that, right? Yeah, probably you may continue.
Yeah. So that's what the ultimate thing is. You need not have. You don't worry that you don't have proper connection with your national organization or to your government. You can still come up with a project which can be utilized for in a broad picture. It can be from industrial pharmacy section. You can come up with a project from your area of expertise. Can be an academic. You can come up with some academic techniques. You can be a practitioner. You can do something related to patient outcomes. So you're not worried that that will not be a major disadvantage that you don't have good contacts with national organizations or government organizations.
Yeah, thanks, Praveen. How about Chanel? Chanel has been a very prominent figure in terms of your research because you're involved in a lot of national kind of leadership program as well as guideline development. But what else that you think the early career pharmacist could start off with as the first step before they expand to a high figure like you?
No, I think a key strength of everyone in the audience today is we're all pharmacists, right? Whether we're training to be pharmacists or already a practicing pharmacist. And I think we can really lend into that and draw upon your experience as a pharmacist. I don't think you need to work in a government or have connections there or have national connections in, pharmacy organizations to be able to have a project that is worthwhile and to be able to make an impact. Because if you can make a positive impact on the patient that's in front of you tomorrow or today, that's already very commendable. And to put that into a grant application and to demonstrate that, I think is the first step. So my thoughts there would be to draw upon your experience as a pharmacist. My work in terms of pain management came from my own experience practicing as a pharmacist in one of our large hospitals and seeing that we could have, but there's so much more room for improvement when it comes to pain management in my hospital, and that's where it all started. So for you, I would say look into your own practice and see what are the gaps that you see and how can you draw upon your own experience, whether that's in community, hospital, or other pharmacy. Draw upon your own professional network. That doesn't have to be a prominent mentor in an international sphere. It can be your own pharmacy experienced mentors who are already in your network. So draw upon your own experience there. And I think that is a fantastic first step.
Thanks, Chanel. I'll just quickly go on to the questions in the chat. Should the proposal be a separate document or be part of the letter of motivation? You may want to have a check on the website. If I recall correctly, it is two separate documents. You would need to have a proposal and a letter of motivation. And the third documents that you would need to prepare is a recommendation letter from your either superior of your company or some mentors, and as well as from your national organization. So there's a few things to prepare before the application, so make sure you don't miss any of those. And how about young pharmacists who are not researchers, does this scholarship apply to them too? Yes, definitely. Last year, I remember I met a few pharmacists who is in hospital community who managed to get the ECLD scholars as well. So like Chanel and Pravin mentioned, if your project can be tailored to make a change in your practice area, you can apply for that. Okay, and the following questions, I think I will forward to Pravin. Should the project be something that you are doing or something that can be in the pipeline?
See, it can be anything. It is something that you are doing. Also, you can submit, and you can see that this is my project at the end of this year. So you will have that timeline because you will be submitting somewhere close to February. You may be getting your scholarship, and you will start your mentor will come in the picture after the Congress. So that is by September. So you will have another 6 months to carry out the work. So it can be that you are continuing that, or you can come up with a new project that is in pipeline as well. So
Yep.
not it is particular to one thing. It's always that you should have at least 3 to 6 months of work that can be done after the Congress. So that would help you out with Tonuk as well. So plan it that way. That would be better.
Yeah, I remember the last year during the FIP Congress, we listened to the presentation from the ECLD scholars during the leadership development workshop on something that they presented is about their practice area, what they're doing in their hospitals or in their community pharmacy. And they have tried some pilot before they come for a presentation. Perhaps if you are the candidates who gotten this scholarship, you may want to prepare a pilot or a testing kind of projects at your area before pursuing for the larger scale one. That is because during the presentation, the other young pharmacists as well as the mentor will provide you feedback on how you can further improve the methodology. So if you can prepare something at your own pharmacy area, for example, taking examples that says you are a community pharmacist and today you would like to improve the medicine labeling so that it is friendly for those who are having vision impairment, taking an example. So you probably want to try out something so that you know this method is robust and you apply for applications of the scholarship. And when you are able to get that, you continue to roll out the projects in a smaller scale to test out and improve the methodology. And when it comes to a presentation, you will feel more confident and able to share your thoughts even more fluently. Right? And
I think I can add one more. Yeah, Ellen, just a second. I can add one more thing also regarding to this particular question. During when I received my ECLD from Western Pacific region, there is this candidate from Malaysia who actually submitted her PhD work. which she has been pursuing for the last 2 years. She submitted and then she went on to complete it. So it can be the one that is in progress. It can be the one that is in. Mine is a new proposal. It can be either way. So both can be done.
Yes, as long as it helps to improve the pharmacy practice and align with the development goal, right? And how many candidates will be selected from each of the scholarship? I remember ECLD will be 6, right? One from each region, and CPS leadership scholars will be one scholars will be receiving the scholarship. Chonhok scholarship will be selecting 1 out of the 6 scholars from last year ECLD scholarship recipients. So chances are limited, so you really need to prepare well and submit your application on time. I received this question, and I believe both Chanel and Praveen could answer. A quick question. Member organizations have been restricted to do recommendation. What if they are the main board that can recommend you, but then you do not have any projects with them before and they do not really know you yet. So it makes it very hard for them to write the letter of recommendation. So what would be your advice to this group of candidates who experience this difficulty? Chanel or Praveen wants to go first?
I can go first. Yeah, so it is a challenging scenario where you rely on rapport that you've built with someone who you need a letter of recommendation for, and it can be challenging to start that conversation or to request that of someone if you don't have that rapport existing. So obviously it is very case dependent and depends on the particular situation, but a couple of thoughts that I have here are to see if you can explain the situation to the person who you would like a letter of recommendation from and set up something like this, just a Zoom call, right? So you can get to know the other person, you can explain where you're coming from, and then build that rapport. I think a benefit of international associations like this is that people are very used to building working relationships over mediums like Zoom. And if you can explain the rationale of where you're coming from and explain the importance of what you're trying to achieve, the other person is more likely to understand where you're coming from and to want to help you in that sense. And I think people in general do want to help each other. It's just wanting to know who you are before they invest that time and those resources. But I think building rapport through a face-to-face virtual medium like this can be very helpful.
Yeah, I agree with what Shania has told. Generally, there is no particular what you call rule that you need to get somebody from a member organization to support your candidature. That's not there. And as she said, you can discuss about your work to somebody in the member organization who can support you. That would be great, but that doesn't restrict you. Only with that you will be getting your scholarship or not. So either way, you can get the scholarship if your work is good, if your profile is good. That's what all matters.
Yeah, I think in Malaysia, because I'm the Deputy General Secretary, we do receive a few emails asking for a letter of recommendation, and being the member organization, we do face a challenge because we do not know this candidate personally and we have not worked with them. So from a member organization point of view, I would really appreciate if this candidate could write something about what they have done and what is the projects that they will be working on for this scholarship, and for us to know more about them, and we could even arrange a one-to-one face-to-face discussion to know about each other before we proceed to write a letter of recommendation. I think that way the letter of recommendation would be more specific and less generic and less general, which will be more helpful for those of you who would like to apply for the scholarship. And I'm just trying to quickly go through the questions in the chat. One of the question is, can you use one recommendation letter for 2 different scholarships? I'm not sure if any one of us could answer this, because I don't think any of us has experience in doing that. But I think even if you want to use a recommendation letter, you may need to make sure the content of the letter is tailored to the scholarship that you're applying. For example, if you're applying for CPS, community pharmacy section, you want to make sure whatever that is written there is relevant to your achievement in community pharmacy section. And ECLD could be something else depending on the projects that you are working on. And you would also want to inform the member organizations that if you are keen to apply for both, and they might be able to advise you accordingly. And I'll just quickly go through our questions, and I think we are running out of time, but I would like to just address these questions because I saw a lot of similarity in the follow-up question is whether are there any specific tips from all speakers for non-research applicants on how they can form their projects, where could they get the inspiration of the projects that they could potentially do. So anything in your mind, or how can we help them to identify an area of project?
This is for non-researchers, is it?
Yes, correct. Non-research.
Yeah, as you were telling previously, it is not mandatory that you have to be a researcher to get one of these scholarship. If I believe during when I received my ECLD, there was this one person from I don't get his name. I just got his name. His country has 5 different guidelines for every disease. 5 different what you call different organization comes up with a guideline. So his only project that he is going to do is unify that into one. That's all his project is about. He is not going to make it a research or something. He's going to unify it one and bring all those 5 bodies together and discuss about his project. So you need not worry that you should have a particular research methodology here, that you have to do a randomized control trial, that you have to do experimental work in lab. That is not mandatory. What can be applied in your country's pretext is what is mandatory. That's all you should focus on. You can look at your country's Ministry of Health's latest thrust areas which is being done, and if any of your work aligns with that, you can focus more on that, and you can tell that this is your country's picture and this is what I try to do with my work. I try to improve this particular thing. I try to ensure this is the reason why we are lacking here, so that this can be addressed. So something like that, if you come up with, that would be better. That would be ideal, I believe.
How about Chanel?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, like I mentioned earlier, the strength of everyone here is that you're all practicing clinical pharmacists and in pharmacists in whatever setting that you work in, and to draw upon that experience is definitely a great opportunity to think of research, or not research ideas, but project ideas for non-research members of this call. And I think another way that you can think of potential project ideas is to look at the organization kind of aims that you are applying for. So for example, what is the ECPG group focusing on this year? How can you develop a project idea that lends into those priority areas? So to draw on an example from the hospital pharmacy section, one of the focus areas of that section is spreading word about the Basel statement. So a common project idea that I see which has been successful is implementing the Basel statement in your own practice. So it can go both ways as well. Both of those are completely non-research. They don't need a research background. They rely on the priorities of your practice or those of the organization that you're applying for, their focus areas.
Thanks, Chanel. And being a community pharmacist, I'm clearly not a researcher and have no experience in writing research proposal. So I was thinking perhaps what you can do is, if you are struggling in looking for a project, try to find out what is a pain point that you are facing or your patient might be facing, and from there think a solution. It could be as simple as improving the dispensing process in the community pharmacy settings in your area, utilizing a telepharmacy in community pharmacy, in increasing the adoption rate, increasing the health literacy level of your patients in your settings. So those are the things that you may want to improve to ensure the patient would get a good quality of care. And those are the things that you can prepare a proposal and think how you can improve that. Even if today you're not able to secure a scholarship, this project is still very meaningful to carry out in your area and helps your patient accordingly. So think about the process and your day-to-day work. What are the pain points? What are the areas? What are the gaps that we may be able to fill? And from there, we think what could be the solutions to it, starting from your dispensing or the counseling, or even if today you are doing a special service and you realize the patient do not really understand how the safe medication disposal works, for example, and you want to develop a nudge intervention in the community pharmacy settings, like putting out a poster and test whether is it workable or not, that could be part of it as well, as long as it serves the purpose of helping the patient and align with the sustainable goal of FIP. And I think the last questions that we received is there any interview process? There'll be no interview process. So you would really need to make sure everything that you write is precise and clear enough so that when the relevant stakeholders is reading, they understand about it and they know what you are trying to deliver to them through the text. Right, thank you. And with that, we believe there will be more and more questions coming out from your mind later on, but since we are ending the webinar soon, I'll encourage you to follow our social media, the ECPG social media. And if you have any question in mind, feel free to drop us a message and we'll be able to address them accordingly, especially on the application process. Yeah, or you can email to us at ecpg@fip.org. And I'll thank Chanel and Pravin for joining us today. Thank you very much for your time and your effort in sharing the tips with the candidates over here. And I'll pass the time back to Godskiff.
Okay, thank you so much, Yi. Thank you, our facilitators, Pravin and Shania. This was a really wonderful session and I myself gained a lot. So thank you once again for your time. Thank you so much. So we just have some quick announcements to make before we call it a day. Yi? Okay. So if you check in the chat box, you would see submit your proposals or your applications. So the first is the Early Career Leadership Development Scholarship, and it's open to just 6 early career pharmacists from the 6 regions of the world. So it's going to be 1 scholar per region. So everyone is encouraged to apply and put in your best foot forward. Okay, please, the next slide. Okay, so the second scholarship that's currently open is the CPS, that is the Community Pharmacy Session Early Career Leadership Development Scholarship. And it's open to early career pharmacists who are practicing in community pharmacy. So, like you've heard today from the first awardee, please put in your best foot forward. Okay, please, the next slide. Okay, so good news, good news. You've been hearing about the FIP Congress. So the FIP Congress portal is currently open and the Congress is going to be taking place at Denmark. And we hope to see each and every one of you. So scholars, those who are going to win these scholarships would have quite a number of sponsorships. Yeah, so we look forward to have, even though you do not win any of these scholarships, we still hope that you will join us because it's going to be a lot of fun, it's going to be educative, and it's a great platform to network with people who have gone far in the profession. So kindly take note that there's an IPSF ECPG package. It's actually a very subsidized rate for early career pharmacists as well as pharmacy students globally. So please be on the lookout on our social media platforms as it will be posted in a few days. Okay, please, the next slide. Okay, so also do well to follow us on all our social media handles. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, LinkedIn, X, that is Twitter, and then we have a WhatsApp platform. I'll be sharing it in the link very soon. And we hope that you guys will join us in subsequent webinars. Once again, we want to thank all our facilitators. We want to thank our ECPG president and the president of ELA. Thank you all so much. And we hope that if you're not a member of ECPG or FIP yet, I'll be posting the link right now. So you could join us and come have some fun, come learn, come interact. Thank you all so much for your time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much.